Hut hut. Let's party. My dog Ovince. Can you hear me, my brother?
Yes, sir.
All right, we just stripped down the Triple F sign. I was telling you how we try to love on these folks here locally with some Triple F pods and love on these kiddos. Go ahead. Let's just hut hut. It's for the famous people like you, man. You know what I'm saying?
I'm famous. I try to consider myself a regular guy.
100%.
I just, my job is a lot different than other people.
So I definitely want to talk about that. People just have no idea, myself included, what all goes into that. We were talking about weight cuts and stuff downstairs. It's bananas. Bananas.
It is. I mean, in a perfect world, like I tell people, like, you know, when they give you a game plan or whatnot to cut weight, you want to cut weight the week of the fight. You want to be anywhere from 7 to 10% of your body weight, and obviously, if you fight in a lighter weight class, the numbers change a lot comparative. You know, I fight at light heavy. Like, you know, you get somebody like Scott Holtzman for fight at 55. Like his 7% might be, you know, like 10 pounds. My 7% can be, you know, 16, 17 pounds, which is, you know, a good flux. So
it is not a good flux. It is not healthy. It is horrific. But when you're an animal like you, that's what you do.
It is, but you know, people be like, "Why don't you fight at heavyweight?" Now, like, you ever stood next to Francis Ngannou, all these heavyweight guys and whatnot, and like, you know, heavyweight guys don't move around a lot, but they hit hard. When they hit hard, you feel it.
Yeah, or go to sleep one.
Yeah, pretty much.
So when you're talking 7%, so essentially, if you're a 200-pound man,
Yeah,
to make the math easy for me, I'm with the pal. So that's 14 pounds.
exactly.
So you want to be 214 the night before the fight, or the day, a couple days. How does it explain the 7%?
So we typically fly in on Tuesday. We get there on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, when you get there, you want to be anywhere from 7 to 10% of your body weight. So,
You mean 7 or 10% over
Yeah.
over where you're fighting?
Yeah. So, say, just to make like you said with the math easy, the easy part. So, if I'm gonna use 10%, so I'm 200 pounds, right? So I want to be, so 10% of 200. So I want to be, I'm 200. I have to weigh in at 200 pounds, so I can be 220.
Yep.
That Tuesday of the fight. So, but you know, if I'm like fighting at, you know, 140, what's 10% of 140? That's
14 pounds.
14 pounds. So
250 or 154.
yeah. So that you see how the numbers end up being. So like the smaller guys, they have to be on point with those. The bigger guys can like just a little bit, but they have to be on point. Like me, for instance, if I come in fight week, I can't be no more than 225. If I'm more than 225, stuff start getting really.
You know you're in trouble.
I can make weight, but my performance-wise, I know I'm in trouble.
Yeah, that makes it. So for all the folks out there, you know, everybody wants to be on a diet, especially this time of year. Everybody's New Year's resolutions are hitting. Everybody's going to lose 20 pounds. So when they hear you talk about losing 20 pounds in 4 days, they're like, man, I want some of that action. Explain to them exactly why they don't want that action.
Because you're going to gain it right back. Because the thing is, people don't realize, like, as fighters or whatnot, you're in fight camp. During fight camp, you're essentially losing weight the whole entire time. But when you lose weight, you kind of, you don't lose weight drastically. You lose weight, but you're maintaining that weight to lose more weight. Just because the week of is when you lose a lot of the weight or whatnot. But, you know, Friday night I can weigh in at 205. Saturday and fight night I can weigh in anywhere between, I've been, you know, 225, 230 before.
So when do you weigh in?
Friday morning.
Friday morning.
Yeah.
So I get it. Like most athletes get it. You go, if you're a basketball player, you lose weight during basketball season.
Yeah.
During football, like when I was getting ready for training camp, I knew, hey, I got to lose a pound every 2 days or whatever. I had my plan. I get that. But when you start talking about losing 20 pounds in 72 hours, that's where my brain doesn't understand how that happens.
Well, with basketball, with football, you have to be within a certain weight, but you don't have to be. I have to weigh in at 205 pounds. Yeah. If I don't weigh in at 205, they give you an extra pound. So 206 is, if I don't weigh in at 206, I'm in trouble. Basically, anything after 206.1, I'm essentially a heavyweight.
So would they not let you fight?
I mean, sometimes they'll let you fight. Like I fought this one guy where, shoot, he weighed in at 210.
In a 205 light heavyweight fight?
Yeah. So they penalize you for that. So they get the person can take a percentage of your purse, typically like 20% of your purse. But what ended up happening
Hold on. The UFC takes it or you take it from them?
I'll take it from them. Yeah, they get penalized for that. So, but yeah, it happens. It happens a lot. So, but yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun.
So if we're allowed to tell the world the process, what is the process from that Tuesday on to knock off 20?
I mean, this is it. I tell people this, like, the fighting part for fighters, that's the easy part.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can see a fighter in there, that's going to be the easy part. It's leading up to the fight. The weight cut is the battle itself. If you ask any fighter, he'll like, man, the weight cut, even if it's a good weight cut, it's still going to hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like you got to go through the process of cutting weight. But that on Tuesday, we fly in, get checked in, and you always want to hit a workout in on Tuesday. So you hit a workout in, you get there, they check your weight, and if you're within the 7 to 10%, you check that, you're good. But then after that, and a lot of times we're still water loading too. So typically that Monday, I'm at 2 gallons of water, close to 2 gallons of water. Then after that, you start shorting up the gallon. So by Thursday, I'll drink like half a gallon. But your body still think you're drinking a gallon and a half of water. So it's going to continue to kind of pee. Like, you're going to always want to pee.
Mm-hmm.
And your meals start cutting back. Carbs start cutting back. You take out your sugars. You take out your sodium just because you don't want to retain the water or whatnot. And now, back in the day, people used to just basically almost starve themselves to death. But now there's such a science behind it. It's crazy. Like, you go in, they do blood work. They'll look at you because different people, because your body work differently than every other fighter too. So different fighters be like, okay, I'm finna just sweat the whole time. Some fighters be like, I can run the whole entire time cutting weight. Other fighters be like, I don't want to do nothing. I'm just gonna hit a couple pads, get a good sweat in, roll, get a good sweat in, go sit my butt in the sauna. Some fighters be like, I'm finna do the hot tub. So some fighters be like, I'm gonna do the cold tub, not the cold tub, but get a water. You're in a hotel room, get your water as hot as possible, throw some Epsom salt in there, and it kind of sucks everything out of you. Typically, you do that with the last 2 or 3 pounds. But you do that like Thursday night is pretty much you have a training session. Okay, let me go back. Tuesday, get checked in. When you get checked in, get all that you need. And the UFC provides all the meals to you already. They be like, hey, look, where your weight at? This is what you need. This is your meals for Tuesday. You get a workout on Thursday, wake up the next day. You might have some media obligations to do the next day on Wednesday. You do that. Eat your food, go in for a workout. We try to do at least two workout a day. And sometimes I'll look at my weight, I'm like, man, I'm finna go for a walk. I'll go for a light jog. Probably end up doing 2 or 3 miles, come back. But when I'm doing this, I'm kind of bundled up because I'm sweating and stuff. Then Thursday come around. When I wake up on Thursday morning, I have a workout Thursday morning, but I know that whole day Thursday is going to be not a nightmare, but I'm going to be hurting. And all I'm looking forward is like anytime, like I was like, look, I tell my trainer, Eric, I was like, look, I'll do anything you tell me to do, but my head is going to be in the fog because all I'm looking at is Friday morning. So I put myself, that Thursday is the worst part of cutting weight just because you're trying to get that last bit. So you do that. Some guys make weight. Some guys can make weight Thursday night, wake up Friday morning weigh-in. So you see some guys actually waking up early Friday morning at 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning trying to cut the last 2 or 3, 4 pounds. So, and some guys get on the scale. And sometimes they'll be like, you get guys. I've been in a situation where I remember when I fought Shogun, I guess somebody was messing around with the scale, and I got on the scale, right, and it said like 207, no 206, what was it? It was 207 and a half, and it messed up a lot of people because a lot of people thought they were on weight because I thought I was on weight. I went to bed, I thought I was on weight. It was like 207 and a half. So now I weighed in. They give you 2 hours to drop that pound and a half.
That's what I was about to ask you. They'll let you weigh in again.
Yeah.
2 hours ago, just die.
Yeah, so you 2 hours, drop that pound and a half, went back, dropped a pound and a half, made weight. You go up to the room. it's funny because like as a fighter when you make weight, like you see them up there holding the pose, they flex and holding the pose and stuff, and I was throwing my Q dog or whatnot. But it's funny. It's just like for a split second you think like, man, I feel like crying right now, just because like all you're thinking about now, like, man, I can eat, I can drink something now. But you, even though you can eat, you can drink something. You got to do it within the sense of like you still not dieting, but you want to put good food into you now. You're not gonna go eat no burger or nothing like that.
Yeah.
You still want to put good food into you, and kind of just like that night you have we have like what you call it, just
Like a pregame
like a
meal.
shakeout, basically, because you've been cutting weight the whole entire week. So you replenish yourself, you feel kind of good, have a shakeout that night. And then in the morning, I like to have another quick little shakeout or whatnot, just because everything got settled in your body. Then after that is pretty much gut checking time. Let's go.
Party time.
Yeah.
So you'll make weight, like you fight here in a few weeks, couple months. When's
Yeah.
the fight?
March 16th.
March 16th. So you're gonna make weight. You ever miss weight?
I missed weight one time.
All right.
One time. And I probably should have just been like, I probably shouldn't have just, I thought I was good. I just should have been like, nah, I'm good. I'm not good. Because I wasn't really good. I wasn't good at all. I thought I could fight through it. I was like, no, I wasn't good at all.
So did you still fight that fight?
I did.
So you get penalized.
I got penalized.
You got to give up some of your purse. Do dudes ever say, you know what, man? I know I'm gonna knock his ass out as long as I have this extra 10 pounds on me, so I'm willing to sacrifice the 20%.
Some guys are willing. Some guys do that sometimes. But at that time, I was like, you know what? I know I can beat this dude. But in hindsight, like when I started off and I was moving, and I was like, man, I probably shouldn't have done this. It's just because, like, I mean, I don't tell a lot of people this. A week before that, I was like, what I was doing, I was working out. Something happened. My back just locked up on me. I couldn't move. And I tell people, I was like, I'm not a wuss or nothing like that. But I was like, I caught myself going to the emergency room because I was in that much pain. And I was like, I don't go to I've never done anything like that. So, but anyway, long story short, got my back fixed. But a week later, went back I was in the fight. And I was like, okay, why am I hurting right now? So I wasn't moving the way I was moving. And I was like, you know, the last thing when you do when you want to fight is like second guess yourself, or basically start thinking, oh, I can't do this because I'm hurting or whatnot. Now you actually fighting two people. Instead, you having a conversation with yourself. You essentially having a conversation with the guy that's going to hit you in the face. Be like, okay, I want to do this, but I can't do this. And next thing you know, they are all over you and end up putting yourself in a situation you should have never been in. So it happens.
Damn. And that's the thing, like even with football players, because football players is similar to MMA in the way that we have such limited opportunities. Obviously, you guys fight, 2 times a year?
2,
3
yeah.
if you're out of your mind.
Yeah.
Right? Us, we're at 17, and then all the other sports play 1 million games. Hell, they play more games than they practice.
True enough. That is true.
It's crazy. Like basketball players going in for an hour shoot around, that's their practices. Our football practices are a little bit different than that.
Yeah.
As you know, you play college football at Tennessee. But as you fighters, like that 5 rounds, 3 rounds, 10 rounds, boxers, fighters, like everything that leads up to is what people just don't understand. It is such for people to think you're going to weigh in at 205 on March 15th.
Yeah.
And then on March 16th, you're going to be 225 to 230.
Man, no, March 15th, I'll be 225. That night, I'm back.
That's insane.
That night, I'm like, I get on the scale, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm feeling good.
So how many people just fight where they're at? They don't do the crazy weight cuts. Is there anybody that'll, or is it like, are there cats that just, how many cats have there been in the UFC that have just dominated so much that they're like, man, I'm just going to move up?
The only person I can think of that fought where they at before, when you're talking about fighting where you at, I mean, talking about like Frankie Edgar, he fought at 45. No, he fought at 55. He fought at 50. Yeah, he fought at 55. The thing about Frankie Edgar is he only cut like 10 pounds.
Yeah.
So you can fight where you at. You're still going to cut weight. He only cut like 10 pounds, but there's a difference between cutting 10 and 20 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that, he ended up going down to 45. Now he's cutting 20 pounds. So, you know, not too many people do it. Not too many people do it. The only other person, like boxing wise, Floyd does it or whatnot. You know, a lot of heavyweights do it in the UFC. A lot of heavyweights. You know, the heavyweight cutoff is 265, so a lot of heavyweights can walk around like, you know, 255. Some heavyweights like Stipe Miocic. You know, he was walking around at one point like, I know when he fought DC, he was like 235. So, and you get light heavyweight fighters who cut down, who walk around 235. Shit, I walk around shoot sometime more than 235.
The crazy thing is there's no gap until you get to that gap.
Yeah.
And it's like, so if you're naturally a 250-pound man, there's no way you're getting a 205.
You can. There's a guy, Jared Cannonier. He fought a heavyweight in the UFC. He fought a light heavyweight in the UFC. And he's fighting at middleweight right now. Middleweight is 185.
That's
so
crazy.
He fought at heavyweight. I think the most he weighed was like 260. Then after that, he dieted, got down to 205. Then after that, he dieted, got down to 85. And he is a beast at 85.
I guarantee it.
Yeah, he's a beast at 85. So,
have you ever fought anywhere but light heavyweight?
I fought heavyweight before. Yeah, I fought heavyweight before. And those two fights at heavyweight, I did not win those two fights. I think if I knew about the fights, probably went out, because I took those two fights on a 2 weeks notice. And a lot of people don't understand too. Like with me, I'm in this sport. I've always been game. Like you'd be like, okay, cool, Vince, we need you in 2 weeks over here. I fought one of my buddies in New York. They were like, hey, his guy dropped out or whatnot, and we need you to fight Corey in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, I was like, all right, cool, I'm game. Madison Square Garden, I can't turn that down. So I was like,
and you don't have to cut weight because it's heavyweight.
No, it was light heavy. I still had to cut weight, but I was walking around at that time. I was like 232. So my first week, I was under 225 within, the first week, because I was training, but I wasn't really training. But I just got out of a fight like 6 months, not 6 weeks prior to that. So I got the phone call in 2 weeks, boom, boom. So my heavyweight fights, I was cutting down to 205. And my opponent, one of the guys, he was a Russian guy. He was having visa problems 2 weeks before the fight. And they were like, he's having visa problems, stop cutting weight. And they were like, okay, you're going to fight at heavyweight. Who you fighting? I'm like, Big Ben. And I'm like, oh, Big Ben. And then his name is Big Ben Rothwell. So I thought I won the fight. I dropped him twice, and he just got up. And it's kind of like the situations where the punch that I hit him with, if I'd hit any 205-pounder with that, they would have been asleep. Like I fought Ben Rothwell in my next fight. I fought Alonzo Minifield. I just caught Alonzo with a short hook, put him to sleep. He went face down on the canvas first, put him to sleep. Ben Rothwell, like literally, I knocked him down twice. Like literally, like boom, he fell down, and he just gets back up. And I'm like looking at him, I'm like, bro, come on, you got to be kidding me.
That's got to be a terrible feeling.
Like, and that's the thing about heavyweights too. They can take a beating. Yeah. They can take a beating. And he did hit me one time. I was like, oh my God. And he hit me square in the nose. I remember he hit me square in the nose. And I'm like, oh my God, I think my nose is broken. I'm thinking to myself in the middle of it, I think my nose is broken. But when I dropped him, I was like, okay, I know I can knock him out. But the thing was, again, I dropped him again. And I'm like thinking to myself, like, bro, stay down. Like, what's wrong with you? Stay down. And I'm like, this heavyweight thing, I don't know. And there was another heavyweight that I fought last minute too, and took him down. And I was like, it's different with heavyweights. Like, I tell people with 205-pounders, I can wrap my hands around them. When I fought Ben, I tried to wrap my hands around him, and I was, it's different.
So it's kind of like I didn't have the natural skill set that a lot of the guys had in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
But I was very confident in myself. But there were still times, like when it's Vaughn standing over there, and we're in Denver, and it's loud as shit, excuse my language, and it's loud, and I can't breathe, the altitude, and blah, blah, blah. Like, in those moments, it's like, as a player, no matter how confident in yourself you're like, God, dog, I hope he don't jump this count because I'm in trouble. it has to feel the same way when you go to wrap your hands around somebody and your two fingers lock and you're like, oh, this is going to be a long fight.
Yeah. Either that, he's just like, be like, he doing that and be like, okay, this is what I usually do all the time. This is my go-to. If I get my hands locked up, I can go for the Polish. It's an inside trip. It's basically wrestling moves and whatnot. I can do this. I can do that. But now it's just like transition-wise, I'm like, okay, what do I do now? It's just like, okay, now you put yourself in a, not predicament, but you put yourself in a fight and be like, okay, the last thing, I don't like to think. I like just to go off a reaction. Mm-hmm. My bread and butter throughout my fighting, they can call it me being athletic, whatever. My bread and butter is just like my reaction. Whatever you throw at me, boom, I instantly react. Because the minute you start thinking, you're like, okay, I'm going to do this and he's going to do that. Then when I do this, he's going to, no, it's not that. Literally, like, in fighting is basically the best way I can describe it. I think Jordan Peterson had a word for it, controlled chaos. Mm-hmm. Controlled chaos. That's what it is. You want to actually be in control, but you want it to be chaotic. And, like, literally, like, that's what it is. And everything that you're doing, like, even the time that we put in the gym, like, as fighters and stuff, because even with me playing football, like, the training I do to my body right now, competitive to what I used to do when I played football, is like, I'm always hurt. People are like, how you feel? Just another day. Mm. Like, I could be like, my body always hurting, but I get up the next day, boom. Get up the next day, boom. But the more and more I do it, my body, I can feel the change in my body. Like we were talking earlier today, I was like yesterday, like even when I started training camp, which about 2 weeks ago, like yesterday was the first day I can feel my body like switching into gear now. Mm-hmm. And I know what that feeling's like.
Yep, I got you.
I was like, hold that feeling. And then after that, the mindset, you want to hold that feeling, then the mindset start coming in. Because even that plays a big role on it too. Because with other sports, like, baseball, football, basketball, you know what days you're playing. You play a season. Football, shoot. By the time Friday come on, that switch turns on. Saturday, you with your team. Sunday, boom, you're good to go. With mixed martial arts, like literally, it's like me building that when I want to peak, I just don't peak the day before or 2 days before. That peak has to kind of rise gradually. And, sometimes with the effects of that, that's why you call it training camps. A lot of guys, they like to go places. And sometimes I do that. But, like, your attitude starts shifting and whatnot. And people are like, so what? Why? Like, people in the gym know when I'm in training camp, especially when the fight just get closer and closer, I do not care. Don't stand in my way. Mm. Apologize to you after the fight. I do not care. Simply because you want to keep that. You want to keep that ability to be like not angry all the time, but just have that mindset. You want to be like violent in a healthy way. Because people don't understand. But like, why are you doing that in the gym? No, it's not. But you gotta understand. I'm gonna be in the octagon across somebody that's basically going to try to make a highlight reel out of me. So, and I do the same thing too. If I knock you out, your highs go rolling behind your head or whatnot, I'm walking around with my hands up. And it's almost like the gladiator scene, are you not entertained? But at the same time, he's trying to do that to me too. And people don't recognize that. He's just like, in order to do that, you have to be someone else. Sometimes that's the part people don't understand. It's just like that little click. You just don't go in there, and it's not a light switch that turn on and turn off. And sometimes it helps, but like I'll be home sometimes, and my wife will look at me and be like, "You lucky you're getting ready for a fight," because she'll say something to me, and I just respond immediately, and I'm like thinking to myself like, "Oh shoot," and she'll be like, "You lucky you're getting ready for a fight." Just for the simple fact. And the thing about it is, I like it too just because I'm not thinking. I just go ahead and say what I got to do. So if I start thinking, second guessing myself, people don't understand that start translating to like me being in training. I'm like, okay, I want to do this. Okay. All that little stuff just translate, which can, essentially translate into the fight. You don't want to think in the fight. You just want to go in there and fight. You're ready. You've been training the whole entire time. So she was like, okay. She knows when I'm actually ready for a fight. She'd be like, okay. You got a really smart mouth right now because you really don't care what you say. And like, I'm like, because I'm not thinking, it's not me trying to be mean. It's just me just boom, firing back. You tell me something, I fire right back.
You got to get in that. It's easy for me to relate it to football because that was my world for so long.
But you can relate it to football. It's just like literally if you get like you were talking about Vernon Davis, he's coming off the edge or whatnot. Last thing you want to do is like, well, if he comes off, if he does this, I want to do this, I want to do this. Everything that you do, you know what to do.
You're dead if you're dead if you're thinking.
Yeah.
You're dead.
He attacks, you attack. Boom.
And that's what I tell these guys, like these guys that are downstairs training right now, getting ready for the NFL. I tell them all, and they've been in college. They got no idea what the speed, no different than your game.
Yeah.
Like once you get to the top, that first fight, it's like, so I'm assuming it's the same anyways.
Oh yeah.
So when I tell them, I'm like, listen, guys, you have to learn how to be in a panic but be calm. Like there's something about panicking calmly.
Controlled chaos.
Controlled chaos. And that's like a couple years ago when Myles Garrett lost his mind and started beating people in the head with helmets and went crazy in the Cleveland game.
Yeah.
And Pouncey and all those boys jumped on him, and the whole world's in an uproar, right? How could he do that? And I'm thinking, I know how he could do that. Because for 1 minute, he couldn't control it. Like, where we are on that field at all times, like the majority of the men that I've been around, by the way, a lot of them I let babysit my kids. They've been around my kids their whole life. They are all capable of that if they lose that control. Like, you have to be in this different, weird, animalistic mindset to even walk out there and compete. And by the way, you have to be so prepared and you have to train yourself how to be in a panic the whole game but calm. Nobody can see it. Nobody can notice it. Because if you're thinking, I can tell when they're thinking. Like they're in their stance. I'm like, you're thinking.
Yeah.
Like you can't, like, and I know they're young kids. They're trying to go to the NFL. And obviously I've been there a little while. But it's funny and it's cool when you see it finally click of like they ain't thinking no more. And then the look in their eyes change. I'm getting chills. Shit, you bringing out the worst in me or the best in me. One, but like once you get it and once you, that shit's awesome.
But when you see it though, like you can tell when somebody's thinking. It's just like, even with fighting, like people be like, "Don't you get mad? I gotta get mad." I'm like, well, the last thing you want to do is get mad because you get mad, your heart rate elevates, your muscles tense up, and you're fried within 30 seconds. And the last thing you want to do is be in a situation where you're so gassed that you can't defend yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's the last thing you want to do. So, like a lot of times, you just like you get caught with something, or you want to get frustrated. That's why a lot of times some fighters, like I think the best person who would do this was like when Conor McGregor fought Jose Aldo, like literally just taunting him the whole time, and Jose, like you can see Conor was like, he's gonna come at me. And all I'm going to do is step back. Well, my fault. All I'm going to do is step back.
It gave a little effect. Boom.
But when it happened, though, it's just like, the whole time, he was just like, during her press conference, he was just, you can see, like, Jose, cool, calm, collected. But when he fought Conor, he was just like, the whole time, like, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him. Like, a little bit down in his mouthpiece. And, like, people don't realize when you bite down on your mouthpiece and, like, you be like, I'm just going to come at him, you take yourself out of your fighting style. You put yourself in a 50-50 situation. Conor knew what he was going to do. So Jose's in a 50-50 situation, but Conor is like in a 80-20 situation because I know what you're going to do now. So you biting down on your mouthpiece, and the worst thing you can do is bite down and try to because all your technique goes out the window. Like the minute you throw that first punch, everything goes out the window. Now, if you were to throw a perfect punch, come down the middle, bring it right back, he didn't. All he did was like, you can see him bouncing off, like, I'm going to get you. And he kind of just happened to step back, boom, put him out.
Sleep.
Yep.
And my whole career, that's why, like, NFLPA, and when you were talking about the Apex building, and talking to me about that yesterday, kind of how y'all built that during COVID and still fight there and how cool it is. And it's like an NFL facility, right?
Yeah.
And the difference in the NFL is all of us train on our own. So there's like 32 Apexes.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas with you guys, so it reminds me of like NFLPA meetings every year. You go to union meetings, guys from around the league all come in, and it's like dudes that I expected to hate me. Right.
Yeah.
You end up having dinner with their wives and hanging out, and it's like all I wanted to do was get you frustrated and make you mad because then I knew I was going to win.
Yeah.
And I would tell the guys, like, hey, man, I got a wife and 4 kids, brother. Like, I'm not out here to be your friend. I'm out here to provide for my family. And when you get mad, that helps me. So it ain't my fault you're mad. It's your fault.
It's the training. Everybody go through the same thing, too.
And then, So I was always my number one goal was if they want to whip my ass so bad that they lose control, they're not worried about hitting my friends that have the ball in their hand. And that was my job, was the blocking stuff. So all I try to do, and I didn't talk much trash, but I would do little stuff, just little. The referees hated me because they couldn't really throw the flag, but I was doing too much, and it just made guys so mad. I knew I had them. It was over at that point. I could see the look in their eye. It's over. You've lost composure. And in saying that, the difference is for us is like if I lose composure, which I've done plenty of times because I'm an emotional guy, I can walk back to the huddle. I can go sit on the sideline and look at the iPad and say, "Man, he got me on that one because I was pissed off." And then like y'all ain't got no huddle, you ain't got no sideline. It's like it's game. Like you're in trouble. It's crazy now that I'm really thinking about it. Like
because for us, it's just like you can get frustrated. I think the frustrating part, like they had a guy, Mike Perry, one time. He was like, "Man, I hate it when the coaches tell you, hey, do this, do that, do that." He's like, "Look, I'm trying." He was like, "Why don't you come in here and do it?" He's like, "I'm trying." Because sometimes it's just like you come in with a game plan, and that first round, the game plan don't work, and be like, "What was?" As a fighter, you be like, "What's going on?" And sometimes it don't work until like the late second round, third round. You just smash, get your submission, everything works out. But people don't understand, like going in there, like I I try to make it automatic where my coach tell me to do something, I try to listen. He was like, "Hey, look, watch out for this. Look at this. It's right there. It's right there." 'Cause essentially, when I'm doing it, when I'm actually training and whatnot, like say you and I are competing, I'm looking at you the whole time. I can only see what you're doing. I can only think about what I want to do. I can't really gauge the distance because I mean everything is heightened. You know, like everything heightened. Your nervous system heightened, pupils dilated, everything. You're breathing. You can hear all of that. Everything heightened. You looking at it. Yeah, looking at each other in the eyes. And okay. I'm looking at the distance. Okay, here's the distance and whatnot. I can't really tell all of that, but my trainer's outside, and he's watching the both of us. Hey, look, he's circling to his right. Make sure you circling to his right. Okay, if he circles to his right, this is what I got to watch out for. Okay, he's heavy on that lead leg. Okay, if he's heavy on the lead leg, oh shoot, I can throw a kick. Okay, yeah, he is heavy on the lead leg. So they can see the both of us. I just can only see me. So then you can make minor adjustments. Like you can make like if you have to make more than 5 adjustments within the 1 minute time frame, you're in trouble. You can make minor adjustment, like at most 3, I think, but 1 to 2 adjustments, you should be good.
because then everything you've trained for, everything you prepared for, it'd be like telling me, "Hey, change your stance, change your kick, like." There's just no way.
Yeah,
Because now everything that I've trained and everything that's natural, I'm changing. Now you're thinking.
yeah. Especially like when you go into training camp. Training camp is purpose like, well, I would have done this, I would have done that. Like I was watching my buddy I fought the one I was talking about. I was fought in Madison Square Garden. He's an output fighter. I'm a power fighter. I can, do max power at 100%, then come back down to 60, chill out for a little bit, then go back to 100%, come back 95. But sometimes I go, I'll drop below that zone, like the 80 zone, and go like 60 because shoot, when you doing a lot of power like that, you're gonna drop. Corey can stay at 80 to 85 the whole entire time, like the whole entire time, just like going, moving, going, reattacking. When I fought him, I was like, man, why is he wrestling so much? Because the wrestling aspect of mixed martial arts will get you tired. I'm like, why is he wrestling so much? And I'm like thinking to myself, like, I thought he was going to strike. And then I was thinking about it. The guy he was supposed to fight was All-American wrestler. So his whole training camp, that's what he was doing. So, and going into the fight, I was like, okay, it's going to be a striking match. And he just grabbed me, boom, boom, boom. But he had a hard time taking me down. His coach was like, his leg is right there. His leg, just pull it. I'm trying. I can hear that frustration. But at the same time, he's just like, people don't realize during your training camp, you have a game plan that you got to oblige by. So if his whole training camp was wrestling the whole time, which when they fought, he out-wrestled Pat. But if your whole training camp is wrestling the whole time, you want to implement that game plan. And a lot of times when you implement the game plan, even like right now, like last week, the week before last, I was in the gym. I was getting pieced up. And people were like, what's wrong with Vince? Like, he looks, well, I'm implementing a new game plan. In order for me to make it work, I have to implement it. It's not going to work the minute I put it in there. that's the thing. He's just like, okay, I'm going to have to find positions. Okay, I'm going to have to be here. Okay, I might have to cheat this way a little bit. I might have to do this way a little bit. And again, like yesterday was the first day I was like, oh, okay, I got it. Like now it's just like there's certain thing I was working on, and I was like, man, I'm waiting for this person. I was kind of waiting for one of my guys to kind of get up. No, like, why am I waiting for you to get up? I'm not gonna let you up. So it was like, okay, why am I actually backing up? I'm gonna stay in front of your face. Like literally, this little stuff that you start working on, you'll be like, okay, now I see where it's going, and now actually the light bulb is just like, okay, I know what to do now. All that transition goes over. Smooth sailing from there.
Yeah, when that light bulb goes off, man, that's the best.
Oh yeah,
That's the best. So I understand the football thing when I play my buddies,
yeah.
but I'm not punching them in the face. So where is is there a line, or is it just like, hey, bro, until 20, 30, 40 minutes from now? Because I don't care what anybody says out there. Jerry Hughes, I'll use the example. Jerry Hughes is a D lineman for the Texans. We're like family. Been around him since we were in college. He's in his 14th season. I retired after 11, but we play together a lot. Our wives are like sisters. Like, when I come off the ball on Jerry, it's different than I do some dude I don't know. I mean, I'm having dinner with him. I love his kids. He loves my kids. In football, I don't care what anybody out there tells you. When it's your true boy or your brother, especially because we play together and then we get traded or we sign somewhere as a free agency or wherever, you're going to end up playing against your boys and your brothers. So it's different. It's different the way you go at your boys. And I would never said that while I was playing, but now that I'm not playing, I'll admit the truth. Like it
is different. I mean, it's one of the things where like there's been situations where I fought people I trained with before. You know, I fought people that I like hung out before. But you have situations where you get teammates fought each other. You grew up in the same training camp. Y'all started together. And y'all worked your way up together and y'all end up fighting each other. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, it's just like, okay, you both have two different goals, not two different goals, the same goal that y'all trying to acquire and whatnot. Y'all got to meet, boom. A lot of times they don't talk during training camp. A lot of times guys don't even talk at all. They fight. Some guys take it a little personal. And then after that, some guys like they fight, shake hands at the end and be like, good work. Okay, we can go back to being friends. Like, shoot, even my buddy Corey, when I was talking about, who was in Arizona, hung out, UFC 200 hung out, like, and we even talked about it. Look, we're gonna fight. Hey, look, if we fight, just put on a good show. All right, cool. And I had a pretty good knockout against him, and he was like, and I remember we were back in the green room. He was like, oh, Vince, if we fight again, if you ever hit me like that again, he's like this. I like, bro, don't say that. He's like, no, look, for real, if you ever hit me like that again, you don't got to worry about me. And I was like, he was like, it's not me that you got to worry about. And I was like, what you talking about? And my mama going to shoot you. I was like, bro. So, but when he said that, I was like, okay, it was a joking matter, but we was making a joke out of it. But then after the fight, we had the bar, we're drinking and stuff. And I was like, why you do that for? And he was like, do what? He was like, you got good movements. What? We just started talking about the fight. Like, literally, it goes like, we can do that. But guys can do that, though. Teammates fight each other, and the next day they hanging out doing the same thing. He was like, man, why you gonna hit me hard like that? I wasn't trying till you ran into the punch.
No question. Yeah, I've watched guys try to kill each other, and then they'll be sitting there having lunch 30 minutes later.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, guys can do that, though. It's just, I think there's one thing about guys that can do that or whatnot. So, like, we fought. Like, this guy that I fought, hey, look, want to drink? Let's go drink. Because the thing about it is, especially when you know what somebody went through to get there. Yep. I mean, at the end of the day, you want to get your hand raised at the end of the day, but you're going to have respect because somebody stepped in there with you. And again, I wouldn't say it's not fun, but it's fun. But at the same time, the sportsmanship, the camaraderie, the respect factor or whatnot, and like, I know what you put yourself through to do to get where you were at or whatnot. So, because you know what I put myself through. So,
well, it's just like we went on a road trip the other day to Buffalo, back and forth to watch the game. And we stopped at McDonald's, which we don't hardly ever eat McDonald's, but every once in a while my kids ask for McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
Feed them McDonald's. So I go back inside to pee real quick because I know I'm going to finish like the last 4 hours of the drive. And I come back out and I get in the car and it's dead-ass silence. Well, my two sons had just gotten in a brawl. Like in the car, my wife had to hit my older boy because he's so damn big, and they just get into it. and my wife's upset, and I'm like, babe, they're boys. Like 30 minutes from now, they're going to be laughing with each other.
Yeah.
Like, but in the same way, like the dudes, because listen, public service announcement. There were plenty of cats out there that I played against. I'm not going to mention your names that you just quit. Like you quit, you were waiting for third down to rush the passer because you knew sacks got you paid, and you weren't about that bar fight action the whole night. So
Exactly.
you quit. So those dudes, like, respect gone. The dudes that gave me that action all game, and it was like, God Almighty, are you ever gonna stop? Like those are the dudes I wanted to buy beer. Those are the dudes. If I gave up a sack, or if I had to pick up Marshawn or Fred, whoever, my boys, like, there's nothing worse than having to pick your boy up after you get him hit.
Yeah.
And those are the dudes that I want to do life. I want to do life with those dudes. Like when I got traded or whatever to a new team, if there was a dude on that team that, like, me and him had just gone after each other, and I could never make him quit, it's the first dude I wanted to meet.
But that's the thing, though, because you already developed that camaraderie, but you already know, like, his mentality or whatnot. Because even at certain people, it's just like you want that person to where, you ever seen the movie The Town?
Oh, yeah.
It was like,
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah. So like, hey, look, we got to go do some bad things, some really bad people. You can't ask me any questions or whatnot. We can't talk about this again. Whose car we taking?
Yep.
That's the type of person you want to look for.
100%. And that's why, like I said, when I saw the look in Myles Garrett's eyes as he had that helmet pulled back, like at the Target or the Weigels, so some folks don't know what Weigels is, the gas station. Like Myles Garrett ain't never going to assault nobody in the Target pickup line, right? No. Because he's not in that mode. He hasn't those few days, that trend you were talking about that obviously football players have to do every week. It's a little different for fighters, but like he's not in that mode. But I saw it, like he's not an abuse. He's not going to. Guess what? He's never been arrested for assault. He's never just beat somebody up in some random place. Now, knock on wood, Myles, don't do that. Make me wrong. But in that moment, like he did what he did, and there's dudes like the dudes that I gravitate towards the most. All of them have that in them. That's
the thing too. It's just like when you put people in that situation, people don't understand when you're in playing football, especially when you're in the trenches and stuff. Like all you get is over 1,500 pounds on each side, and it's just constant collision, boom, boom, and all you hearing, that's all you hear. Like imagine somebody trying to walk through that. You won't survive. You would not survive. So that mentality that you have to keep in, or that mindset that you have to keep in through there, it always have to be there. Sometimes you're right. It slips up. You can lose control. Like some fighters do the same thing too. Like sometimes it's just like all of a sudden just like, I don't care. I'm going. So, but a lot of times too, even outside of that, like it's funny you say that. Outside of that, even fighters, like since I've been doing mixed martial arts, I haven't been in a fight.
Outside the ring
at all. But the thing about it is, it's just like, people are like, man, if you get in a fight, what would you do? And I'm like, man, I really wouldn't want to do anything. Like, because people don't think about it. It's just like, you don't want to do anything because you've been training the whole time. Like, fighter, I'm like, man, I don't want to throw a punch. If I throw a punch, I'm going to break my hand. You're like, because as fighter, you know how easy it is to break your hand. But at the same time, if something comes your way, like, people don't understand. Like, we do this every day for a living. And coming out and trying to do that, like if something happens, pretty much 9 times out of 10, it's just like if I see something thrown at me, I'm already moving my head out the way. It's called reflexes. It's called reaction. If somebody throws a punch at me, it's called reflex. It's called reaction. If I move my head out the way, I don't know what's coming next. I'm just going off of basically what I've been doing for the past like 15 years. So I remember when I was at UT, one of the guys on the football team got in a fight. One student athlete, football guy, got in a fight with it's a regular student. And he was like, I just don't understand why people want to fight me for. It was like, I play football. I lift weights every day. I work out. Why do you want to fight me?
Yeah.
Why? And he was like, I don't do anything. I don't bother nobody. I just don't understand why people want to fight me. And he was like, I'm like, yeah, that do make a lot of sense. But half the time, I'm walking around town, keeping my head down. I'm still have football size on me. It's funny, people still, oh, how do you think I'm gonna do this year? Like, man, I haven't played football in 20 years.
I don't know, buddy. Hopefully they do good because everybody's happier around here. But that's my thing. Like somebody will honk at me in the car, flip me off, or somebody will say something, and my kids, they're like, "Dad, what are you gonna do?" And I'm like, "Nothing, nothing," because I'm terrified at what I'm capable of.
Exactly.
Like that scares me as your father, and as a husband to your mom, and as a community leader now that I've retired. I'm terrified of what I'm capable of because I know where I can go. And if I start down that road, you're going to see a look in my eye and a side of me that you might not ever be able to get out of your memory bank. I don't want you to see your dad that way. So the guy that just flipped me off, because my kids always say, this is our line. I'm like, everybody's tough in their car. You know,
Yeah.
my kids will say, everybody's tough in their car, huh, Dad? And I'm like, yeah, who cares? Like my blood pressure is not raised at all. Now, if somebody comes up and hits my wife and tries to kidnap my kid, it's a different story.
Oh yeah.
But a bird or somebody talking trash with road rage, or even somebody like that kind of says something before they look around and see how big I am or whatever, like I just laugh at that stuff, man. Whereas when I was younger, I might get a little riled up. But
when you're young, you kind of look for things like that. It's kind of thrilling. But as it's kind of thrilling. It's just like, okay, because when you're young, you always want to see what you're capable of as a young man. But when you get older and stuff, you figure out like, I know what I'm capable of. Again, I like Jordan Peterson, so I'm going back to him.
he's
He was
the
like,
best, man.
he was like, you have to learn to be violent. It was like a harmless man is not is not a bad person. A harmless man is a good person. He just has everything under voluntary control. So if you can turn it off and turn it off, turn it off and turn it on, yeah, those are the people you got to worry about.
Ain't no question.
And like me, like it's funny because like if you talk to the guys that I play football with, if you talk to everybody from my hometown down, in Immokalee, Florida, they'd be like, "Man, Ovince, I thought you would be the last person doing what you're doing," because they think what I'm doing right now is violent. I just love the competition aspect. I like actually exhausting myself to pushing myself to the next level. I'm like, let me see what I'm capable of doing. Like I was talking to Rich earlier today. He was like, oh my man, I can't wait till the snow melt away so I can go running. And he was like, where are you gonna go running at? And I'm like, I'm gonna go running outside. Again, when I go running outside, I love to go running outside because I park my car at UT and basically run along the river, and it'll be sometimes 10, 11 o'clock at night. He's like, aren't you scared running at night? And I was like, that's the whole purpose of running at night. And he was like, everybody runs during the daytime. When you run during the daytime, you looking at other people, waving, cars driving by, and everything is just like, you can see everything. At night, I need my nervous system to be jacked up. So my nervous system is heightened already. My pupils are dilated. So I'm already in kind of a flight or fight mode already at night. But there's sometimes I'm running, it's pitch black, but I'm just running. I can hear my heartbeat. I can hear my breathing. And sometimes it get pitch black. Let me hit pause on this because I can't hear anything. And next thing you know, I can hear the birds chirping and whatnot. Somebody would be within 15 yards, and my heart rate just boom elevates. And I look at my watch, and I'm like, yeah, it just went up to like 10, 15 beats immediately just because I happen to see somebody coming. I need to experience that because when you're in my world, that's what you experience. Is you're calm, but you need that flux of like your nervous system heightened, your everything just like heightened, and you need to know how to control to bring that down. It's a mild situation, but when I can do that, and that's why I like performing. That's why I like doing my nightly runs. I do like 3 to 5 miles sometimes. When I do it, I'm like, I get done and I'm like, okay, I'm good, and my mindset just completely start changing. So
That's so good, man. I got a teenage son at home right now. Hopefully he don't watch this because he'll be mad at me. Whatever. I'm gonna tell his business a little bit, but you have to learn how to stay calm while you're panicking. Period. Like just like you're saying, running at night, all of a sudden you see a dude, and it's like that feat. You have to learn. Like it's back to Jordan Peterson. I love him too. He's a gangster. It's like it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Yeah,
And at the end of the day, I don't have many I have acquaintances and people that I am very friendly with, but I don't have many very close friends that aren't capable of bad stuff.
yeah,
Because those are the kind of people that I gravitate to and enjoy spending time with because I like people that kind of have to wrestle themselves to go be good.
yeah.
I can't imagine just naturally just not ever having.
But I mean, it's just like the age-old thing. It's just like It's so easy to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hard to be good. When you're good and you do one bad thing, people never forget that.
Yep.
But when you're bad and you do one good thing, people be like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like that conflict right there makes it a little different. But even with me, just like I watch anybody, I can watch anybody. It's just like because I'm always watching people. It's in people. You can actually turn it off and turn it on. Some people are just scared to do it. Some people are either scared to do it, they can't do it, or some people are just like you look at them and be like, you cool, calm, collected, but I would hate to see you turn into something else
Mm-hmm.
because I don't think you can check out of it.
You can feel
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's like learning. You can't control the way you feel. Like Alicia Smith. Shout out to Alicia Smith. No one can make me feel like she makes me feel,
Oh yeah, she knows you
good
in and out.
or bad. And then I'm like, oh my God. And as I got older, now that I got a 15-year-old son who is my mini me, and my 12-year-old's right behind him doing the same stuff, family show. Well, but it's like it makes me hot. Like, and Alicia's like, welcome to my life. And I tell everybody, it's like when you truly learn that trying to conquer how you feel is impossible. Conquering what you do after you feel that way is pretty cool when you learn that. And that's what Jordan Peterson's so good at. All these folks are so good at is like your feelings you can't control. I'm never going to be able to. I love Alicia Smith. She's my best friend. She knows, like, I care the most what she thinks about me. I care the most about how much respect she has for me. I care. So when she says something that makes me feel some kind of way because my ego's at play and I'm like, wait, where's the respect? And it's like, what are you talking about? She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like,
But it's that too. Who was it? Dude that wrote the book Relentless. Is it Glover?
I'm horrible with names.
He said something along the lines where like when you're home you just the husband, you just dad. But out here in the world, everybody is like Lee Smith. You play ball here, you do this, you do. Everybody knows you, but that's just dad.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like when your kids come see dad. It's just like, okay, that's just my dad. And everybody else would be like, no, you don't know who's that. And I'm like, that's the kind of feeling when you home, you get humbled.
Mm-hmm.
You get humbled. So that's a good part about it.
It's the best.
Yeah.
So two sides to that story. A Navy SEAL came and talked to us out in Buffalo. I don't remember the guy's name, but it was like my second or third year in the league. And he said that one thing he does is every day when he gets home, he has this like hook on his front porch, and it's an imaginary hook.
Yeah.
But he hangs his gun up, and he goes inside, and I'm just dad now.
Well, it's probably like an anchoring type of deal or whatnot. Just because, okay, our Navy SEALs, those type of guys, much respect to them.
100%.
Much respect to him. I still think I'm a pretty bad dude, but some of the things that you got to do with, especially when you come home and transition. Okay, anchor, boom. Okay, I'm just gonna be dad.
Mm-hmm.
Once I place this right here, I know I have to be dad now. So you do that every day. You transition to do that. You transition yourself. Even with me, like I have an anchoring thing in the fight too. Like a lot of times when I'm in a fight, I can actually start doing this right here. That's telling me to be like, okay, I'm telling myself like, okay, if I'm feeling some type of way, I'm good now.
I'm gonna steal that. There we go.
I'm good now, just because I can feel that. And every time I feel, if it's something good, I can kind of repeat myself, kind of tricking your body. Like the other day, I was training, I was like, Vince, you good? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm walking around, and I'm just kind of like, all right, I need to hold on to that feeling. So every time something good happens, I'm like doing this. But what happens is, if I'm feeling a little off during the fight or before the fight, if I feel a little nervous, that feeling comes and it associates with me like, oh, shoot, that's a good feeling. Let's go.
Once again, man, and guess what? You couldn't control feeling good or bad. But like, there it is, folks. Like, that is what helps you conquer life.
Yeah.
Is when you learn that when your feelings hit you, like, guess what? That's not in your control. In your control now is not necessarily your defense mechanisms, but the way you handle that feeling. And God, when you're a young male, you're horrible at it.
Oh man,
it's unbelievable. Like I got daughters at home, and then I got sons, and it is the literal example every day of boys are out of their freaking minds. Like their feelings control their actions, whereas females, it's like I feel this way, so I'm gonna like internal. But boys, they're just gonna go punch each other and jump off bridges and ride. It's crazy how males are wired, bro.
But that's it though. It's just like with males though. It's just how do you? Okay, I'm doing it again. Going back to Jordan Peterson, he was like, boys they learn how to actually socialize with each other by rough playing.
Oh, I gotta tell you a funny story in a second about my wife told me the other day.
So they rough play
Yeah.
all the time. So when they rough play, they're like, oh, I don't have to say a word to you. We just can come in, we start playing around, rough play. If you're like kind of whiny, pantsy or whatnot, I'm like, I don't think I want to play with them. But that's how you socialize with each other. When you socialize that way, then you develop that type of camaraderie or whatnot. Anytime you put a couple boys together, all you do is, and then, what's going on? Oh, nothing. Okay, you're all right. Just go sit down over there and be quiet. And next thing you know, you go do it again. Every single time. I get my nephews together, that's all they want to do. And I'm like thinking to myself, man, my sister would be like, no. I said, no, just leave them alone. They'll be all right. Just because they're socializing with each other. That's how boys do.
And they have to establish dominance.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It's almost like ancient days. Like somebody breaks in your village, like the men are the ones getting out of bed. And it's like at my house, my girls are on the top floor, my boys are on the bottom floor. You go upstairs on the top floor, there might be some nail polish on the carpet. There might be, dirty laundry. You go into my basement and there's holes everywhere in the walls. And Alicia was telling me a story the other day. She said, they did this study and it was like, I don't know if it was 7 or 10, but it was like 8-year-old boys, and they put them in a house. For like 2 days before, they taught them how to cook. They taught them how to, do laundry for like 2 days. Throw them in a house together, give them food. All they do is eat cereal, fight each other, tear holes in the walls, establish dominance, have wrestling competitions. Who's the leader, who's not. Then they do the same thing with women, and they're cooking food for each other. They ain't broken a dang thing. There's drama. Like that they kind of break off in packs, like this little group of girls and that little group of girls, and the boys is just freaking chaos.
Yeah.
And it made me think, like, man, are we letting boys be boys enough these days?
Probably not.
Like, are we just letting, because you got to get it out, or else you don't learn how to deal with it. And,
I mean,
you should like, Ovince. By the way, I feel like I'm the baddest dude in my gym most days when I walk in, unless Ovince is here, and then I walk in, I'm like, all right, I'm number 2.
I'm low key.
I'm number 2 now, which is a good feeling, humble pie. But obviously, your godsons are at my house all the time.
Yeah.
One of them should be here right now. Kenny should be downstairs. Him and Brody wanted to come work out. But, like, when they're over, Kenny and Brody, I mean, Alicia's like, why do they do that? Like, literally, it's like this sick enjoyment that they get to make the other one react. Like, because in their eyes, it's like, you're being weak. Like, why are you letting me get in your head? And it's just back and forth. And they fight. And then, Bryson and Brock are the same way. And then, like I said, when my daughter's friends come over, there's none of that. There might be some drama. They might get mad at each other. But it's just pure violence when the boys are over.
But the thing is good, though. They can do that and actually be like, they can have that and actually be like, okay, cool, we can be friends now.
Similar to you punching your buddy in the face and having a beer later.
Yep.
And him telling you his mama's going to get after your ass if you ever hit him like that again.
Yeah, he was like I was like, bro, why you had to say that?
Do you know his mom?
Nah, I didn't ever met his mom, but I was like, I didn't want to meet her. I didn't want to meet her. What I'm going to say to her? I'm sorry.
No question.
Yeah, I didn't want to meet her.
I was thinking about this earlier, and I'll let you go, bro. I know you're busy. You're getting ready for a damn fight and training camp and sitting here with me.
You good.
But when you were talking about game plans and different things, I'm a big Tyson Fury fan.
Yeah.
I'm not like Shaq, Tyson Fury. There's like 4 or 5 dudes that I actually enjoy. Yeah. I enjoy watching the Kelsey Brothers podcast. I think they're funny. Yeah, more about the people they are, really. Yeah. And both Kelsey Brothers are the most dominant players of their position.
Yeah.
Tyson Fury's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, I like elite dudes that are so much better at me than sports and are good, cool guys or whatever. So there's a few dudes that I kind of enjoy watching. Shaq, like I said, I just met him. But when Tyson Fury fought Francis, he was uncomfortable. And after the fight, he's like, I mean, you could tell he won, obviously because of the scoring system, which none of us understand.
Yeah.
Just like last week, my Brody showed me the score. Who fought Strickland and
I can't pronounce Duplessis. I think they had I didn't watch the fight, but from what I heard, they had Sean winning. And a lot of times when you fight for the title, you have to be the champ decisively or whatnot. Yeah. But again, another reason they say don't let the fight go to the scorecards.
Yeah. And Brody showed me, and it's like Sean hit him more than he got hit, but the other dude had like 6 takedowns.
Yeah.
And I told Brody, I'm like, I don't know how UFC scored. I like watching it, but I'm assuming that 6 takedowns versus 0 helped him win based off of the scorecard. I don't know.
Control.
Yeah.
Control.
And the same thing with Tyson after that fight. He's like, you could tell he's like, I'm never fighting one of these dudes again because I don't know how to judge. Like, he's not used to, like, Francis just moved weird. He's not a real boxer. But he could have knocked him out at any point.
But that's the thing, though. Like, Francis didn't have an amateur career. Francis didn't have any pro career or whatnot. Everybody knew he's just a hard hitter. But then after that, it's just like when you get somebody like, there was a situation where when I saw Tyson Fury when he fought Deontay Wilder. When he fought Deontay, there was one situation where he was leaning on Deontay. When he was leaning on Deontay, people don't realize when you get somebody like Tyson leaning on you like that, he's like 280. And Deontay was like at that time like 225 or something, 220, and he's leaning on you. That's a lot of pressure on your back. So Deontay just leaned over like this and get back up. He did that to Francis. He tried to do that to Francis. Francis got him in a duck under and literally had his arm in a Kimura position. You can see that was uncomfortable. Francis had him against the cage. I mean, not against the cage, against the ring, tied him up this way. And he can see, like, okay, I'm uncomfortable.
You could see it, bro.
You can see I'm uncomfortable.
Just the look in his eyes. As an athlete, I could see it. And I'm like, oh, my goodness, I've never seen him like this.
But Francis had that knockdown. You can see everybody was like, oh. So now it's just like, it's one of them situations where I think, because I've trained with Francis before. And I consider myself to be a bad, scary dude. He's terrifying.
Really?
He's terrifying. He's
Has he ever been knocked out?
No, not that I know of. I know he's lost a fight. He lost against Stipe. Stipe kept on taking him down. Then the following fight, he fought Derek Lewis, the Beast. Derek ended up beating him because I think he was just gun shy.
That's the real funny dude, right?
Yeah, he's
big
hilarious.
old dude.
He
Yeah.
actually played ball at LSU. He played D-tackle at LSU. He's
hilarious.
hilarious. Man, when you're around him, just expect a good time.
Yeah.
He'll have you joking the whole time.
You can tell.
Oh, yeah, he's a good time. He fought him, but then after that, he just some click of like, I don't care. And like literally touch, sleep. And sometimes people are like, well, you don't really have any technique or whatnot. I tell people, man, shoot. Technique, if he knows how to throw a jab cross hook, and you can't defend that, and you know it's coming, that's technique enough. Mm-hmm. But the thing about it is, his technique is, I'm going to put my fist in your jaw, and I'm going to put you to sleep. Like, even with boxing gloves, when he hit Tyson, and I was like, oh. But imagine, though, if he'd have won that fight. You know how bad that would have been for boxing?
Buddy, I don't like, he's a top 5 boxer in the world. Period.
They got him top 10 right now.
They got 2.
He fighting Anthony Joshua next.
He's going to win.
He fighting Anthony. And the thing about it is, it's funny because.
There's more money in that too, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like stupid more.
Yeah. Definitely. Compared to mixed martial arts, definitely. But even that fight, I think who was it? There was a guy during the face-off who was talking to Anthony Joshua. He turned around and looked at Anthony Joshua. He was like, man, he makes you look like a middleweight. Like, people don't realize.
He's that big. What's his walk-around weight?
Man, I say he walks around. Like, I was in the gym when I trained with him before. Like, when he fights, like MMA-wise, he has to weigh in at 265. So he's in shape. So MMA-wise, he'll go into a fight like 250. Like, he don't lose. He'll diet down to 250 and he'll just stay there. And he's lean. But dude walk around like 280, 285. And he take out. And I'm talking about, like, they say his nickname is the Predator. Like, literally when he walks, he just kind of like.
You know who he reminds me of?
Who?
Like Khalil Mack. That's how Khalil is. Like, he walks in the locker room and there's only one of him. And when he walks in, it's like, what am I going to do to deal with him?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and when I saw Francis, and I don't know how tall Francis is.
He's about 6'5", and a half.
So he's 2 inches taller and probably 10 pounds bigger than Khalil, which is unfair. And just the way they look. Yeah.
But not even that. It's just like, you see him, you shake his hand. And then I remember one time I was training with him, and I was like, I shot in. And when I shot in, I went for a single. I just went for a single. And I grabbed his legs, and I was like, oh, I got big legs. I got football legs. I got big legs. And I'm like, geez. And he started sprawling on me. And the minute he started sprawling, like you can see me like immediately, I'm backing off. Like I'm like, nah, I don't want nothing part of that. All of that, like him being about 280, shooting his hits back that fast and that hard,
He's a freak.
like literally it's equivalent to me like, and I just imagine, I'm like, as I'm coming out, I'm just looking at him and I'm like, no, I don't want him to be on top of me, especially if my arm is out like this. And I'm like, man, that's a blown shoulder off top.
Done.
I was like, I'm out of here. Like there's certain things it's just like you do, and I'm used to getting away with stuff. Like in my weight class, I'm probably if one of these strongest or like pound for pound wise, the strongest fighter in my weight class. Like he literally was, hey, look, I'm holding the grip. No, move your hands right here. You know how like when somebody does that to you, you be like, wait, hold up. Like, no. That's like my kid doing something. I'm like, no, move. And he'll look at me and be like, no, move. And I'm like looking at him. I'm like, bro, for real. Like, for real. But then you see him training other people, and I'm like, hey, do I look that bad? Like
He just dogged. There's nothing to do with him.
He's freakishly strong. His fight IQ is pretty much out the roof. Like there's certain things. I remember I got him one move he'd never seen. He was like, "What was that?" And I was like, "It was just a takedown." And that it was like a trickery type deal. Tried to do it again, didn't work.
Just like that.
Didn't work. Got him in the switch, took his back. Second time I tried to get him in the switch, he actually re-switched me, then slung me across the room. Like literally, I went. It was. I knew that. I was like, I knew that didn't happen. I remember we were in a cage, and I had him in the switch, which is a wrestling move. First time I switched and I got him, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And the second time I tried to do it, he actually re-switched me. And I was like, oh, holy crap. And the only reason I said it was like, I didn't expect him to move that fast. And then when I went to do it again, he did something to the point where like, I literally slid across the mat like 5 yards. Like, boom. And I'm like looking at myself, and I look up at the coach, and I was like, all right, I'm good. Like, he's...
There's just nothing you can do with him. It reminds me, I was in training camp in Buffalo one year. You remember Mario Williams?
Yeah.
So Mario, shout out to Mario. Mario made a bunch of money, but he's a genetic freak.
Yeah.
He ran a 4.5 at 300 pounds, and his arms were 100. I mean, he was a freak show. And he only turned it on when he wanted to. He was Reggie White. He just didn't play like Reggie. Mario turned it on when the game was on the line or a play needed to be made. He always made it.
Yeah.
But he wasn't one of those all-day suckers because he had never had to truly compete his entire freaking life because he was better than everyone.
And that's the hard part. Not the hard part. That's the crazy part.
Yeah. I mean, he's in first pick in the draft. So I'm on the right side, and I always like to pass setting better to my right than my left. Naturally, I'm right-handed for whatever reason. It was just more comfortable. And so I pass set, and it's perfect. And I'm really strong, like really strong. In comparison to even the most powerful dudes on the planet, I'm a really strong dude, just natural strength.
Country.
And he freaking threw me on my head. And it wasn't like my feet got tripped. It wasn't like my set was bad. It's not like I could watch the film and say, all right, I need to do this next time he does that. No. It was perfect. It was as close to perfect as it can get on my end, and he dominated. He just abused me. And he was so nice. So we go in the locker room, and I'm like, all right, big dog. He was older than me. I'm like, all right, big dog, here's the deal. If you ever do me like that again, I'm going to cut your car tires. And he knew I was serious. I'm like, don't ever embarrass me like that again. Because there's nothing I can do. Like, it was so frustrating. And I looked at my coach, and that's the best thing. When Mario Williams kicks your ass, the coach is like, whatever, don't worry about it. It's Mario. Same thing with Khalil and some of those guys. But that feeling, it made me smile. I'm like, oh my God, like it's just so much bigger and stronger and faster, and it wasn't fair.
But that's the thing, though, is you can tell you like no matter what, you can be at the elite level, NFL elite level. But then after that, there's guys that are like specimens and be like, how?
Out the womb.
UFC elite level. But there's guys that like, wow, like what did I just witness? Like even when I'm training in the gym and whatnot, there's certain guys I'm looking at, I'm like, don't do that. They're like, what are you talking about? Don't do that. And they'll do something. They'll be like, they'll land a punch and be like, oh, okay, I'm feeling comfortable. And I'm like, bro, chill out. I'm making you feel yourself. And next thing you know, boom, boom, boom. By the time they get done, they be like, bro, what did you hit me with? I told you not to do that.
Yep. Yep.
So
And then that was the thing with Mario is like, I knew not to poke the bear. Now, if I had to play against him in a real game, I'd have to get real creative. But he was my teammate. But it wasn't like because that's how those dudes are. They're like, hey man, I know I'm better than everyone out here. You guys are my teammates, but don't try to make your highlight reel with me because you know I'm going 50%, or I'm gonna embarrass you.
You know the good thing about that is everybody knows that. But when he get poked, everybody turns around and be like, "Ooh, I need to see this."
Ain't no question.
Hey, all the guys be like, "Oh, I want to see what's gonna happen. Oh, I want to see this."
Yeah.
Like literally, like even in MMA gym, you see two top guys going with each other. Everybody will literally stop and like, "Ooh."
Like the Titans are clashing.
Yeah.
Yep. It's like when Trent Williams out in San Francisco, and then they got Nick Bosa too. Like, it's weird how the whole energy changes. Nick Bosa makes $35 million a year. Trent Williams, the highest paid tackle in the history of the league. Like, when they do one-on-one pass rush, the whole energy of the 30 people watching is just different because everyone enjoys the elite. Like, when you're the best, it's fun to watch it. No, even if you are at that level with them.
It is. It's almost like man, I do this a lot too. When I'm in fight camp, I like watching a lot of movies. Top movies I like watching is 300, Gladiator, 300, Gladiator, and
Troy's one of my
Troy is my top.
Yeah.
I like Troy. I can put that on and recite it from top to bottom. It's just like literally that. It's just like you watch him. He was like, especially when he fought Hector. When Hector killed his cousin, took out a helmet. Now you know who you're fighting. And like literally. That type of mentality, people don't understand. You gotta like people be like Achilles. He was just boastful. You have to be.
You have to be.
It's just like that's where the confidence comes from. So when you have that type of confidence and whatnot, it's just like people know, and people want to see. And when you come around, it's just like everybody's just like wow. So that's like my top movie watching. I like watching those movies and seeing that, especially like. When people thought it was Achilles, when his cousin fought Hector and Hector killed him, but people thought it was Achilles fighting, when he came, like the atmosphere just completely changed. Completely changed. And that's what you want.
Yep.
Like literally, those movies, I'm like, I can put them movies on repeat and watch those the whole entire time. By the time I get through the fight, it's just like I'm on. I got to start off with Achilles. I'm start off with Gladiator. Then from Achilles go to Gladiator, then 300. Just boom, repeat that cycle.
Yeah, you're good, man. You ain't gonna break that mic. In my theater at home, when we bought the house, I told everybody to pick their favorite movie, and then we kind of hung the poster on the wall.
Yeah.
That way, down the line, when the kids are older, we can say, "Hey, when we bought this house, that was your favorite movie." And there's like Waterboy and a couple of kid movies for my girls, but Troy is mine.
Yeah.
It's just he's a savage.
But And that's the mindset. I mean, that's the mindset that you want to equate to. Like he was like when he told the kid, he was like, that Thesian you fight, that's the biggest man I've ever seen. I would want to fight him, and he was just, that's why I don't want to remember your name. Like different things that you got to do to actually stand out. The way you got to train, the way you got to get prepared for it, whatnot. Training regimens that Walter Payton, Jerry Rice are doing and whatnot, they stood out. Like certain guys did certain things that stood out. Like, Christian right now, look what he's doing. He got to stand out. Like literally, when you do that, I seen his training regimen. I'm like, bro, this dude is a dog. But when you do that and actually translate, it speaks for itself. Yep. So.
It's like Kobe and some of those dudes. They were just, which is still crazy. Kobe's gone, man.
Man, I was in Vegas. I was in LA when it happened, and it was crazy when it happened. But like, I'm a huge Kobe fan, especially with that mindset.
He was Achilles, bro.
Huh?
He was Achilles.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean,
I think one of the things I actually put it in my wall the other day. I was actually yesterday after my training session. I was like, I'm feeling good. I put it in my wall, and I was like, no negotiation. I can't negotiate with myself. There's a lot of times people want to negotiate with yourself. When you negotiate, you're taking the way out. He's like, I can't negotiate. I made this deal. This is what I got to do. I can't negotiate with myself. And I was like, no negotiation.
My dog.
Yeah.
Ovince. Better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. Jordan Peterson, shout out to all the folks out there, man. Like, that was a perfect way to end. Stop negotiating with yourself.
Yeah.
Like, just go be great. Everybody knows what it takes for their version of greatness.
Yeah.
And if they want it, like, if you don't get it, it's on you.
If that, but I tell people want greatness where I want greatness, the type of greatness I want, or the type of greatness I strive for. Everything hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if it's not hurting, it's not working. You just can't go out there and be great. Like, you got to put in the time. I'm outside running outside. Sometimes I get my heart rate up to, like at night when I'm running, I get my heart rate up sometimes to like 190. That hurts. That's because I'm trying to be great. Even if I get hurt, in order to get back to being great or whatnot, I got to train. I got to get therapy or whatnot. Therapy hurts. So I've learned to be like, okay, look, if you want to do something in life or whatnot, there's no easy way out. It's going to hurt. But there's a difference between what type of hurt you want. You want the hurt to where it's good, which me training, me coming out here, me watching these guys and whatnot. Like Rich was like, come on, you got a couple more steps, and they straining and whatnot. That hurts. You're like, man, I can't. My forearms are burning or whatnot. It was like, it's good. I mean, it's working.
Mm-hmm.
So I need it hurt. In order to be great, it gotta hurt.
That's like I always say that discipline and sacrifice are semantics.
Yeah.
Like, if you are a disciplined person, then you're sacrificing something. Your body, your time, your health.
Exactly.
And you try to figure out a way in life to where you can accomplish greatness without sacrificing every damn thing. Because then, like, my wife, my kids, like, for a man that wants to be great, like, trying to find my dog, Kevin O'Shea, shout out to Kevin O'Shea, trying to find a rhythm instead of balance.
Yeah.
Balance for successful men ain't a reality.
That's hard.
It's hard. It's like, and you just never find it. But trying to find a rhythm to where, like, and once again, your non-negotiables. My wife's getting me this many nights a month, or I'm going to make sure I never miss ball games, or I'm going to make sure that I never miss dance recitals. Like, whatever the non-negotiables are, and your family knows, like, hey, Dad's got you, but Dad's over here doing this too, because it helps him accomplish greatness and be the man he needs. There's all this stuff, finding the rhythm, but if you're not, like, there's no way to be disciplined if you're not sacrificing something.
Oh, yeah, you're sacrificing something. Like, the thing about it, guys ask me, be like, man, I'm trying to get where you at. I'm like, because the thing about it is, I didn't know what I was doing. I just stumbled into mixed martial arts. I was doing it because I didn't want to be one of these guys that gained a whole bunch of pounds. I wrestled in high school. I was a pretty decent wrestler. And I didn't know what I was doing. The guys were like, hey, what do I need to do to get to where you at? Just look at him like, all right, shoot, what do you want to give up?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you talking about? I was like, somebody gives you, in order, what do you want to give up? Somebody gives you $100, and I'm like, I need to take a couple payments off of that. And I was like, well, that 100 technically turns into, negative 100, so you're in the hole already. So what are you willing to give up? So once you realize what are you willing to give up, then after that we can start from there.
Yep.
So
I love it. All right, bro. March 16th, I'm having a party here. Since the Apex is small and intimate, but we're doing a party.
It is. I like it like that just because it's like an in and out situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like because I was talking to my manager, he had said something about UFC 300. I was talking to my trainer, I was talking to my coach Eric, and he was like, what about UFC 300? I said no, and he was like, why? And I was like, for what? And I was like, man, you know how hard it is to get a bonus in UFC 300. Then after that, now with sports nowadays, everything's so theatric. Like, it's more like entertaining and stuff. Like, shoot, going to a freaking Vegas Raiders game is like going to a club now.
No question.
So, like, it's just like I need to be cool, calm, collective, in and out. Go in, handle my business, get right back out, go back to the family.
I dig it. Well, I can't wait, brother. Well, once again, baddest ass dude to walk in here. I know there's badder dudes on the planet for sure. But I don't think they're walking in here anytime soon, so you take the cake. Appreciate you pouring into these kids and loving on this place. And I love you, brother. You're a good man.
Thank you, sir.
And anything you ever need from me, say the word. But my dual kombucha and coffee,
oh yeah,
I need to find the bathroom.
Yeah.
So
you'll be heard in about a couple, I'll say give you another hour or two.
I think I'm already there. All right, bro. Done.